In accordance with Standing Order 38, a motion to adjourn the House is deemed to have been made and seconded at this time. Therefore, the question is that this House do now adjourn. The Honourable Member for Nipissing-Temiskaming on Industry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On March 4th, I asked a question of the Prime Minister regarding Vale Inco laying off 421 people across the country, but more particularly to my interest were 261 people in Sudbury in Northern Ontario. The response came from the Minister of Industry. The Minister spoke of what was going on in Northern Ontario. He rattled off a list of programs and initiatives that were nothing new to Northern Ontario. They sounded good, but there was no real substance or no new initiatives were discussed in light of what was happening to the economy and the job losses in Northern Ontario. Mr. Speaker, he complained about the Senate holding up the budget, how the benefits were being held back by the Senate. Well, Mr. Speaker, we know that that wasn't true. We know that that was nothing more than Conservative propaganda. The Senate has long since passed the budget, yet the Conservatives continue to drag their feet regarding the help for unemployed workers in Northern Ontario. Now, let's go back to my question of March 4th and its response, or perhaps I should say the lack of response to my question. In October of 2008, we were told that the Minister was reviewing an agreement with Vale Inco, key to the foreign takeover, and this was the agreement between the Conservative government and Vale guaranteeing that Canadian jobs would be protected when this foreign takeover took place. Was this for the people of Sudbury in Canada? I don't think so, Mr. Speaker. This was more Conservative posturing. When asked of this arrangement with the company, the Minister replied on March 4th that he expected Vale Inco would live up to its agreement with the Government of Canada. Mr. Speaker, there was nothing enforced, there was nothing there. We need more than words from this government. We need actions. Mr. Speaker, under the watch of this government and this minister, Inco was sold to a foreign company, a foreign multinational, and in true Conservative form, there is no demands put on multinationals to protect Canadian jobs. I have a few questions that I would like answered, and the first one is, was there in fact an agreement to protect Canadian jobs when Vale from Brazil brought Inco? What has this government done to uphold that agreement, if in fact it did exist? When will this government stand up to protect citizens of Canada and not continue to defend multinationals? What sanctions does Vale Inco face now that the agreement has been violated? Furthermore, what is this Conservative government doing to prevent future violations? Now, my final question is, more importantly, what is this Conservative government doing to bring back the jobs that have been lost in Northern Ontario and across Canada because of violations of this agreement?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to thank the Honourable Member from Nipissing-Temiskaming for his question concerning what the Government of Canada is doing to save jobs and to ensure meaningful work for labour workers in Northern Ontario. Mr. Speaker, of course, we are disappointed by the layoffs in Sudbury and the impact they have had on the families in the region. But the member should know that these are challenging times for mining companies around the world due to the global economic crisis. The government is continuing to closely monitor the impact of unfolding economic conditions on Canadian industries, workers and their families across the country. To deal directly with the current crisis, our government recently announced its Economic Action Plan, which will have a significant impact on the economy of Northern Ontario and the lives of the region's residents over the next 2 years. Mr. Speaker, Northern Ontario will benefit from this plan in a number of ways, including through the strengthening of the Government of Canada's catalytic of economic development in the developing the region, FedNor, as FedNor. As part of the plan, FedNor will be charged with delivering a number of initiatives designed to stimulate the region's economy. Some of the measures in Canada's new Economic Action Plan will be of great benefit to both of these sectors, resulting in real impact for residents of the North. Of particular significance in Northern Ontario, the government's action plan will provide $170 million to help the forest industry develop innovative products and to promote these products globally. Promoting alternative use of Northern Ontario's wood supply is crucial to the region's economy, particularly for smaller forestry-dependent communities. Mr. Speaker, in addition, Our government's economic action plan will also put Northerners to work by supporting much-needed construction and upgrades to community recreational facilities, as well as the infrastructure projects, including the rehabilitation of bridges and roads. For example, our government will create jobs in the north by moving forward with the twinning of a number of segments of Highway 11 and 17, as well as through our $225 million effort to extend broadband coverage to unserved communities. Mr. Speaker, collectively, these measures will help stimulate job creation across Northern Ontario. They will provide valuable alternatives to workers who are feeling the effects of global economic downturn, benefiting the communities and residents of this great part of Canada. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The honourable member for Nipissing-Temiskaming.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and it's nice to hear that the honourable member is concerned for Northern Ontario and concerned about job losses, which we do have quite a number of job losses, and I don't see the money coming through FedNor. I don't see it coming at all. It's very slow and very hard to picture. I know questions have been asked about what is being done for Northern Ontario, but really not a lot. But let us get back to Inco Valley, or Vale Inco, and the takeover. Now, this is a foreign multinational taking over a Canadian company, and there was an agreement, an apparent agreement. Now, specifically, the question that I'm asking the deputy or the member is what sanctions does Vale Inco face now that the agreement has been violated? Furthermore, what will this government do about future violations of agreements that are made with the government? Do we just let multinationals come in and walk all over us and take away the jobs, or do we have a plan to stop that?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Mr. Speaker, these are tough economic times, as I've indicated. That's why we have the Canada Economic Action Plan. But I would like to assure the member that this Canada Economic Action Plan and through FedNor, we are working to ensure that there is investment in Northern Ontario, which will provide jobs that have been lost and will provide the necessary means for the families to find work. But I would like to tell the honourable member as well, he's asking how is the money coming? Well, I'm glad to see finally he got his Senate to pass the bill, and now we can help the people of Canada as the budget has been approved. Thank you very much for that.
L'Honourable.
The Honourable Member for Montmagny, Lille, Kamouraska, Rivière-du-Loup.